The Eagles have a well-earned day of rest tomorrow, but there's one last hurdle before the breath of fresh air. A practice lasting close to 3 hours, padded with live tackling and a lot of intensity. Here is all you need to know from one of the toughest days of the Eagles training camp program yet. Before we get into it though guys, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and of course drop your opinions down below on everything we discuss in today's video. And if you want your daily dosage of Philadelphia sports content, make sure you head to phillysportsnetwork.com for coverage from myself and all of our writers. It was business as usual for the Eagles today, with all the usual suspects in attendance. The only new addition to the absentee list was Penn State's Ryan Bates. Deshaun Jackson was given a Veterans Day off, we'll have more on that later, and Jason Peters left practice early with the Birds taking caution after he was slow to get up following a play. Blake Countess also returned to practice, and there was an improved status for Corey Clement, which again we'll touch on in just a little while. Penn State rookie Miles Sanders has been getting up to speed after missing OTAs and has been impressive in doing so, but the running back stayed down after a play earlier today, holding his left foot and causing some mild concern. Sanders got up of his own accord and was helped off the field by trainers walking gingerly to the medical tent, but walked out shortly after without much in the way of hesitation. The good news is that Doug Peterson seems confident that the young rusher will be just fine, but then again, foot injuries and this team don't exactly go together well. Fingers crossed for Sanders that this is nothing substantial, given that he's already missed a significant portion of the offseason and was just beginning to get rolling. It's fair to say the Eagles have placed a recent focus on size. Dallas Goedert and JJ Arcega-Whiteside are the two most notable examples as a vision to improve red zone success is implemented, but it goes far beyond the stars. 6'6" wideout Carlton Agudosi signed with the team as an undrafted free agent out of Rutgers, and today was his day in the sun as he caught back-to-back touchdowns on Jeremiah McKinnon, Nate Sudfeld slinging a perfect fade. Agudosi has enjoyed 2 relatively strong days of practice now, and understandably so. At 6'6", he's hard to stop, and those red zone packages will see him come alive. He had 3 touchdowns today, all inside the red zone. That very niche may see him push for a spot on the bottom of the depth chart if he continues to turn heads and snag balls away from the likes of 6'2" corner Jay Liggins. While we're on the topic of wide receivers, another man making constant strides is former Houston quarterback Greg Ward Jr., who is attempting to make the Eagles in his 3rd consecutive offseason. But with recent Alliance of American Football experience under his belt, caught 2 great catches over DeAndre Hall and Jeremiah McKinnon, and has been making deep completions down the field, jumping up and snagging balls out of thin air. You'll notice that Charles Johnson also received first team reps today, and that was due to Deshaun Jackson's rest day. So the AAF duo are both getting exposure and making the most of it. They're both also having strong training camps, adding even more intrigue to the wide receiver position this summer. You can make a very solid argument for Ward Jr. at this point, and I think the Eagles will be hard pressed to keep him off the roster for a 3rd year in a row. In his first piece of 7-on-7 action this summer, former Wisconsin running back Corey Clement is hopeful to be full steam ahead next week. He returned with quite a bang too, catching a touchdown inside the red zone off of Clayton Thorson. In what's becoming a clustered running back room, certainly don't write off Clement just yet. But while we're on the topic of the backfield, Jordan Howard continues to get more and more looks as a receiving option, something he has worked hard on in both of the last 2 off seasons, and that will give the Eagles even more optionality coming out of the backfield. To date, Howard caught a wheel route off of Nate Sudfeld, leaping over Joey Alfieri for a completion, and further making a statement that he can catch the ball, and it is of course just a myth. It's been hashtag Sidney season all summer long down at the NovaCare complex, with Rasul Douglas following suit, the pair making plays on a daily basis, with today being no exception. Sidney Jones broke up a pass to Nelson Aguilar from Carson Wentz, and Sidney Jones picked off the franchise quarterback, top of a few pass breakups as well. Both corners are making life difficult for receivers and quarterbacks, and one can only imagine the problem that Jim Schwartz now faces. If Darby and Mills enter the fray and immediately resume starting reps, expect the Hounds to growl, bark, and want to rip the place to shreds. If you think the cornerback battle is intense now, just give it a week. We can expect a full shuffle of cards in the secondary, but who ends up on the top of the deck is becoming more and more mysterious with every practice that these 2 studs ball out. A player I've been really high on for quite some time now, and one I genuinely believe has Pro Bowl potential, is the man who has led the Eagles in special teams tackles in back-to-back seasons. It is of course linebacker Camu Grugier-Hill, who again is having a stellar training camp. camp. Today, he picked off Carson Wentz inside the red zone in 11-on-11 drill, and if he can continue his development into the preseason and further prove he's ready for more defensive snaps, expect a potential breakout on the horizon. And finally, it has been a relatively quiet summer for an elite tight end who broke record after record last season, but that changed on Thursday with Stanford product Zach Ertz flashing the star power that he has sprinkled through the league in recent years. He made an insane one-handed grab inside the red zone, and the Wentz to Ertz connection was as hot as it ever has been, which can only mean good things for the Eagles offense. So the Birds end the day on a high despite some slight bumps along the way, but let me know what you think after another week of training camp is effectively in the books down in the comments below. Who are you high on, who are you not, and who are you looking to see more from as we get closer and closer to the first preseason game? From myself, Liam Jenkins, you can follow me at Liam Jenkins PSN on Twitter. Thank you so much for all of your support around this daily content. It means the absolute world to me. We'll see you tomorrow for the Outside Insider podcast. There will be an NFL head coach video soon, and maybe, just maybe, an Alex Singleton film room. We'll see how we're feeling, but thank you for the support, guys. I'll see you next time.